Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video from Life of DJ. So as you can tell, I'm out here in the shop and I'm pretty sure you've noticed that a lot of things have changed over the past few years, and this shop is still under progress, but a lot of progress has actually been made. So this video is going to cover pretty much the layout of the shop and some of the stuff I'm still in the works of but is in functional status. So let's go ahead and get a much better look is what behind the scenes. Alright, so over here you're going to have my miter saw station. So what I've got here is the Admiral 12-inch sliding compound miter saw. I've had this saw since at least 2021, 22, and it's definitely been a workhorse for me. And I think out the door was like 200 something or 199, but I got it on sale. It was kind of an impulse buy as I was still working at Amazon, so there was a Harbor Freight on my way to Amazon where I was working at the time, so that would have been in 2020 or in 2021. But this is my miter saw cart that I built mostly out of all reclaimed wood. It's still a work in progress because I want to put some doors on it and finish off the interior wall so I can have some space for all my saw storage. Alright, so getting a better view of my miter saw cart, you can tell that I've got some under storage. I've got it on casters that lock, so it'll allow me to take my stuff where I go. So in case I get called to do a volunteer job or something like that, or want to go help a friend, I'll be able to do that. So get a better look here. Let me put my ISO up so you can see a little better. But it's a little messy. Again, that's the Admiral 12-inch compound sliding miter saw, which will probably be getting replaced at some juncture. And down there is going to be my Wen 3-blade thickness planer. Got that for a good deal straight off the Wen website. And then in there I've got my Makita belt sander, which I only paid $5 for at a thrift store. And then up here I've got all my painting and some of my other hand tools. And that tote that's up in there, that's going to be my shop vac accessories where I keep all my hoses and other attachments. Then I keep my paints and stains and propane torch up there and all my electrical related stuff. Then all this stuff over here is just leftover plywood I had from the French cleat wall project, but I'll be making some additional stuff out of it when I get around to it. I've got all my home networking related hardware, woodworking hardware, and also miscellaneous hardware in on the shelf. And then I got some more French cleats that were left over from the French cleat wall project, which will be getting used. And then this is where I keep my speed squares, my levels, and my carpenter's square, along with some of my safety equipment like my earmuffs and safety goggles, which I wear over my glasses because, you know, I wear glasses. And then over here you'll find the server rack, which is where I keep all my networking equipment. I've got 2 UPSs down at the bottom. I've got a Dell PowerEdge R510, which hosts TrueNAS, which I use for Windows VM, my next cloud installation, some of my other related stuff that I use TrueNAS as a base, but that's going to be for my Abyss Tech YouTube channel. And then I've got a Super Micro 1U server chassis with a hodgepodge of different hardware serving as my router. Now I've got a Brocade 6600 series 48 port switch, and then I've got my compact KVM switch, which would be this right here. And then my monitor that I used to do all my network administration. And then up here, you're going to see all my clamps, because in woodworking you can never have enough clamps. And then down here, this is going to be my table saw cart and router table. Yeah, I know it's a little mess. I'm still working on reorganizing. But let me remove this, which is plumbing hardware. I've got a Hercules router in on that, so I can use that as a freelance routing table, but I've got some plans to put some T-tracks or dovetail slots in. And then back there is going to be my skill 10-inch table saw, which has the folding legs, but I decided to build a dedicated stand to put it in. So I might as well do a 2-in-1. Then underneath here, you'll see my rigid I think it was either a 5 or 6 gallon shop vac, my Genesis drill press that an old supervisor from my job at JB Hudco gave me since he was moving. And then I've also built a little cabinet and a little support off to the side for longer pieces, and the cabinet's used to store my router bits and my table saw blades. Then you can see here is my power tool station. So I built this primarily out of the old workbench that you've seen in my previous video that I did back in November 2020. So I did tell I run all the Makita line. I've got 2 Makita drills. One is the I forgot what it was, the XPH 07 and the XPH 12Z. Then my impact driver is the XFD 13. Actually, let me pull it out for you. It's one of the basic run-of-the-mill low-end Makita impact drivers, but it's done well for me, and it's the XDT 13. Then I got the recip saw, a brushed circular saw and planer, and then over in that corner is where I have my sander. And then I've got a Creative Labs, well, no, not Creative Labs, but a Unce Angle 3, one of the small ones, but made by the same company that Creative Labs, I believe, owns. And then the Maytag washer and dryer I recently acquired. And then back there is all my water stuff, wall pump, pressure bladder, and my water heater. And then up there, obviously, got some more storage. That middle shelf is more so for like my small items and paint accessories, and then bottom shelf is pretty much more miscellaneous stuff. Back around, and then we got the shop doors I built from scratch, and actually held up through Hurricane Milton very well, and Hurricane Ian, which is pretty much a frame out of 2x4s and 3/8-inch plywood. So I've been pretty happy with that project. And then here is going to be my main workbench. Obviously a mess. What shop isn't a mess when it's not organized? I've got the Harbor Freight Central Forge 6-inch vice bench, or what do you want to call it? Bench vise. And then down here I've got some more storage and a toolbox, which I keep some of my stuff like my chisels, oddball things. I've got some nails in that box. This little plastic drawer I keep all my grinder accessories in, along with a bunch of zip ties, and the good old $10 Harbor Freight grinder, which has got me through multiple jobs. I'm surprised it hasn't died yet. And then down here is pretty much all miscellaneous cords. So I want to show you what I keep in the toolbox. And in case you wonder what air compressor I'm running the McGraw 20 gallon. And then let's see what I keep down here. So in this drawer is where I keep all my Imperial sockets, so when I'm working on stuff that requires Imperial sockets, I've got it all put in here. The second drawer I keep is some of my fasteners for my 3-in-1 nail gun, and also some of my pliers. I've got the old cheapy Harbor Freight ones, which work good enough for my application in here. And up here is where I keep some of my miscellaneous drill bits and screw bits, and a couple of brushes, and I also keep my nut drivers in here. Then up here I keep some of my usual tools, a couple of screwdrivers, a pipe cutter, and my Harbor Freight chisels, which I need to get around to sharpening. And then up here is pretty much more lumber. And the overhead shelf, more miscellaneous storage. So yeah, I've got a lot of work to do in here. So yeah, that's pretty much the basis of my shop. It's changed a lot over the years, but it's got me through multiple projects. Obviously I got some more projects I want to do, like building a new workbench, moving the washer dryer out to my patio area. That's probably going to be one of the next upcoming projects, so I'll be getting into doing a little bit of plumbing and electrical. And then finishing up what other small projects I have in here so I can fully utilize all of my equipment in here. But other than that, I hope everyone has a wonderful day, week, night, wherever you're at in this world. Have a good night, everyone.